Hi, and welcome back to the Time for Tea Designs YouTube channel. I hope you're as excited as I am today to show you how I created this large word die shaker card. So our word die is going to be our shaker window. But first, let's have some fun and create a patterned background using our stencil. This one is called Pawsome Prints and it's a 6x6 stencil. I have a magnet and some repositional tape to help keep my craft paper in place, and the magnets are helping my stencil stay in place. So I am blending on some white ink. This is going to be our first layer of ink on this craft cardstock. After letting it dry a little, I'm also going to grab a paper towel to pick up any excess ink that's still just sitting on top of my cardstock. And then I'm going to place my stencil right back on, and this time shift it to the bottom right just a little bit so I can create a shadow with my ink blending. So putting those magnets right back in place, I'm going to grab one of my brushes and I'm using my Salvage Patina Distress Oxide on the top of my stencil. And then I'm going to blend that into peacock feathers on the bottom of my stencil and trying to create a bit of a seamless blend in between the two. With this busy of a stencil, you don't really need to worry too much about having a perfect blend. And here you can see it kind of creates a little bit of a 3D effect, having those two different layers of color, the white and the teals, kind of off-centered from each other. So now I'm grabbing the You Had Me at Meow die, and I'm saving all my little pieces and not throwing them away because I can make another card with this sentiment. So I'm going to put those aside and save them for later. I'm going to use some rectangle dies to cut out my craft cardstock as well as some white cardstock for my card base. This is going to be an A2 size card. Now I need to attach some acetate behind my sentiment, so I'm using some double-sided adhesive and place it in areas where I want my craft cardstock to be sturdy and snug up against my acetate. I peeled off all of the release paper and then lined up my acetate piece to fit behind my craft paper. Now I was a little off-centered just the way it was angled, so I will grab some scissors just to trim off any excess acetate. So now the front of my shaker is done, and let's grab some foam tape so we can build up our shaker. So these are just some extra thick foam strips, and I'm going to line up the edges of my shaker. This whole panel is going to be a shaker. So I'm not going to add any of my foam to anywhere else inside of this rectangle, just along the edges, and I'm making sure to really butt up those pieces together so that there's no way for my sequins to escape. So they're really nice and snug. Once everything's in place, I'm going to go ahead and grab some sequins. I went with this kind of pastel colored sequins for my stash. They're really pretty and have some nice little teal bits in there to tie in with the paw prints on my card. But it's a nice subtle, rainbow of colors. I think it's very pretty, but use what's in your stash. You can color coordinate as much as you'd like if you try to make this card yourself. Once I have enough sequins down, I put a lot because this is a very large shaker window. I'm also going to grab some clear seed beads just to really help make those sequins move around, and it also allows me to use some more affordable pieces inside of my shaker because they're clear and cheap and will help create more bits inside. So I peeled off all of the release paper from my foam tape and I centered that right onto my background. And now I have my panel that I can adhere to a card base. And of course, I also need to add in some of my pieces from the You Had Me at Meow sentiment. So I'm going to grab the pieces that will be the inside of the O, the A, and the D. You can definitely leave these off to create larger windows. I just thought it would be fun to add in those missing pieces. So it's just the letters that are the window. But if you would prefer more visibility to the bits and pieces inside of your shaker, you can definitely skip this part. Now I'm trying to get the O back out of my sentiment. I placed it in there so I could center the inside of the O. I knew it would be perfectly centered if I had the letter inside. So there we go. And now I have all those little pieces added. Course, now we need to add some cute stamped images. Time for Tea has the most adorable hand-drawn little critters. So I grabbed my Kitty Caper stamp set and I stamped out a ball of yarn, the little mouse, and one of the cats. I already very simply colored in the yarn and the mouse, so I thought I would zoom in here and you can see some of my coloring for my little orangey yellow cat. I'm just using my GUIs to color my cat in. These are Spectrum Noir Illustrator markers, and I sped this up pretty quick so I don't take up too much of your time, but just wanted to share a little bit of my coloring in this video. Once I have my dark, medium, and lightest shades for my cat, I'm going to grab a blush color and color in some cheeks for my cat as well as its nose. And then I'm going to grab in a darker color of that GY and add in just some little speckles here and there. I like to do this to my critters to just give them more texture. I have my white gel pen to add some highlights, and since I've already die cut these out, we can go ahead and start gluing these to the card. So I decided that I was going to adhere my ball of yarn and my mouse to the front. So let me go ahead and glue my A2 panel to a top folding A2 size card. Well, it should have been A2. Some reason I cut it at 4.5 inches instead of 4.25. So I'm going to grab my paper trimmer and just quickly trim that down. Okay, so now that my card is assembled, I'm going to grab my little mouse and I'm going to use some wet glue to adhere that to the opening space next to the word at on the left, and then the ball of yarn will be on just the other side, and that will finish up the front of the card. So you have some cute stamped images, some fun shaker bits, stencil, die cutting, a lot in this fun little card. And then I'm going to glue my little kitten inside of my card, centering the cat. It looks a little off-centered because of the tail, but I wanted my little cat to look like it was sitting center to the card. Of course, we need to add a bit of a sentiment inside, so I went ahead and grabbed one of my sentiments from the same set and some black ink. So here you can see the front shaker card and the inside with the cute little cat. Here are some close-up images of the card. I hope you enjoyed making this fun shaker card with me. Don't forget you can find a list of the Time for Tea Designs products down below in the description, and make sure you check out all of our social media sites, including our blog, for more inspiration. Bye!